Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, Fargo Public Schools announces when it'll drop its mask mandate.
We just moved into this neighborhood in the summer, and yeah, just to think that something like that could go on so close to where we are.
Residents uneasy after 2 armed robberies in Fargo, plus the end of an era. Why Happy Joe's in South Fargo is shutting its doors. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
We begin with breaking news. A 63-year-old Jamestown man is dead after a car crash this evening. According to Highway Patrol, he was heading west on 32nd Street Southwest, just north of Jamestown. And when he attempted to cross Highway 52, he was struck by a Toyota driven by a woman with 2 children in the vehicle. The man died at the scene. The woman and children were transported to the hospital. Their injuries are not expected to be life-threatening. Continuing coverage now on 2 Fargo Casey's convenience stores, the victims of armed robberies exactly 1 week apart. Valley News Team's Nisha Taylor spoke to residents who live near the most recent hit. They told her they feel uneasy about it happening so close to home.
I mean, it definitely makes me more hesitant, or just more just want to be more aware, I guess, of what goes on.
This Casey's convenience store on 25th Street sits on the edge of a neighborhood filled with apartments and single-family homes.
It's a pretty quiet neighborhood, so it's just something you don't expect.
Last week, 26-year-old Tyler Hendrickson approached the clerk displaying a gun in his waistband and demanded cash. One resident who recently moved into the neighborhood says hearing of this kind of activity happening so close is very concerning and worries for the safety of her young daughter.
Yeah, every parent wants to make sure their child is safe, so yeah, it makes me feel a little unsettled knowing that can happen, especially not being prepared for it.
Another resident says she too feels uneasy about the situation.
It worries me because I leave early in the morning when it's dark, and my husband comes home when it's dark.
She also says gas stations like this one can be prime spots for people to rob.
I mean, yeah, I think any place of business is always a target, and it's small.
Another suspected armed robber, this man, still remains on the loose. Police say he got away with cash after robbing the Casey's on 42nd Street on Monday. If you have any information about this incident, you are asked to reach out to Fargo PD. In Fargo, Nisha Taylor, Valley News Live.
In a statement, a Casey's spokesperson tells us we swiftly work to support and ensure our team is safe. Meanwhile, police in West Fargo are asking for help identifying these cars and the person pictured there. They're not saying why, only that they're involved in investigations. If you have any information, call West Fargo Police at 701-515-5333. New tonight at 10, 2 incidents today where people drove into buildings. Here, a man drove into 3 Lions Pub in West Fargo, crashing into a window. The pub says it happened around 4 this afternoon. No one was hurt. That spot is still open. They've told us they've since boarded up the window. Valley News Live is working to learn the condition of the driver and whether they'll be charged. An hour later, emergency crews responded to a home in East Grand Forks after a vehicle backed into a home. That happened in the 1700 block of West River Road. No word on any injuries there. Tomorrow is another first alert weather day, and our viewers in the Northern Valley especially may want to be ready for a tricky morning commute. Hutch joins us with the latest. Hutch.
Stacey, thanks so much, and good evening, everyone. As we glide into our midweek day, we are expecting big time changes. It's a first alert weather day for your Wednesday, for wind for all and snow for some. And the wind, it's already kicking it up. Out in the Devil's Lake Basin, we have gusts approaching 50 miles per hour. You are certainly hearing that wind. It's out of the west. Here in the valley, we have a west 17 mile per hour wind in the Fargo area, and it's a little lighter in the trees of Minnesota. But again, the gusty edge of the wind is just making its way into our western counties in northeast North Dakota. We've had gusts back in Montana that are sliding into the oil patch as high as 50 to 60 miles per hour. Wind is going to be a problem for many of us. There's wind advisories up and down the valley, and in the James River Valley we have high wind warnings where we do expect the stronger wind gusts to 60 miles per hour. That's dangerous for high profile vehicles. Remember, north-south travel will be difficult if you're in a high profile vehicle. A little bit of a mess making its way as forecast through parts of Lakes Country, but here's what you need to know for tomorrow. Gusty winds for all, over 50 miles per hour for many, and even with a little bit of light snow, we're going to have reduced visibility, tricky travel, icy roads, and dangerous wind chills. Your forecast details in hour-by-hour style in a moment, right here. And now I'm walking over here just to be over here, just to make sure that you know that it's going to be a challenge, and I'll have the details in a minute.
That wind does make it tricky, doesn't it? Thanks,
yes.
Hutch. Fargo Public Schools is dropping its mask mandate in all FPS buildings, but not until January 17th. They say it's because of updated guidance from Fargo Cass Public Health. That just came out today. The main factor in that change, they say, is that children 5 to 11 can now get a vaccine. The guidance notes universal masking will still be strongly recommended. For more information, head to our website, valleynewslive.com. Tonight, the Barnesville School Board approved canceling school on Thursday so students can go to the state football semifinals. An email sent out to parents said students won't have to make up the school day and they won't have the option to do distance learning. The game starts at 2 at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. 28 schools will play in the Minnesota State semifinals Thursday. That's according to the State High School League. Parents contacted our whistleblower hotline upset they were not given more notice to this day off from school. New tonight at 10, All True Health System says they will no longer accept philosophical exemptions for its employees who refuse to get a COVID vaccine. When the company announced its vaccine mandate back in August, they said employees could request an exemption for medical, religious, or philosophical reasons. The requirement was supposed to take effect yesterday. The company now says it's been moved to January 4th. All True tells us 6 employees are still not in compliance with the mandate. New developments after North Dakota's tax commissioner was taken to jail yesterday. Ryan Rauschenberger has now resigned after a drunken incident yesterday in a Bismarck hotel room. The resignation will go into effect January 3rd, and Governor Burgum will appoint someone to finish out the remainder of his term. A Minnesota man and his family are still fighting to leave Kabul more than 3 months after the Taliban took control of the city. Kais was caught in the chaos when American troops left the city and the Taliban took over. For the past several months, he's been in touch with the State Department, but he recently learned his 3-month-old son needs a passport to leave Afghanistan.
They told me, like, you need to have a passport for your son, which is like a 3 months baby. And I told them, like, it's not easy to get a passport in this current situations. The new government, they are just against the people like me, or, you know, like interpreters and citizens.
Kais says he's been doing everything he's told with no luck, and he feels like he's running out of time. He says the greatest threat to his safety is from U.S. delays. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's office has been working with Kais and the State Department to try to get him home. Happy Joe's in South Fargo has closed until it can find a new owner. The current franchisees, Mike and Cheryl Post, are retiring after more than 40 years, saying it wasn't an easy decision. For information about Happy Joe's franchise opportunities, head to our website or your free VNL News app and click on this story. West Fargo police officer Tim Brown is now recovering from home. Officer Brown suffered a heart attack while on duty on Halloween and has spent the last 2 weeks receiving specialized treatment in a Nebraska hospital. Police Chief Dennis Otternes says Officer Brown came to the station yesterday and is doing well. He says his recovery is nothing short of a miracle.
It was remarkable to see him up, moving, walking, talking to us.
Chief Otternes tells us Officer Brown isn't completely out of the woods. He still has a long road of physical and occupational therapy before he can come back to work. Fargo Public Schools is unveiling its new Explorer Academy. The ribbon cutting tonight marked the first public and private partnership with Fargo Public Schools with TNT Fitness, creating a sensory gym in Lewis and Clark School. TNT graciously received donations from the school district's gala last spring to design that facility. And a big day for former NDSU superstar Carson Wentz. His daughter, Hudson Rose, was born today. The Indianapolis Colts quarterback posted her picture on Instagram, writing, "I can't wait for you and your big sis to run the world, or at least my world." Still ahead tonight, we're on Verdict Watch in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse. We'll tell you what happened today and why it was so unusual.
Up next, we're going to go over your forecast. A gorgeous end to our Tuesday afternoon here in the valley. It saw temperatures kissing that 40-degree mark. We have big changes, including wind for all and snow for some. But will it be enough to make snow angels? Your hour-by-hour forecast is right after this.